Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. This is the press surrounding Matt Gaetz after he pushed the motion to remove McCarthy as Speaker of the House, and McCarthy was removed first time in U.S. history. Now, we have to ask ourselves, those of you that say, he's just showing the weakness, and the Republicans now are in the middle of a turmoil and chaos and the Civil War and blah, 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 and the Democrats are going to use this next year in their congressional ads to show how disruptive and how disorganized and how Republicans can't govern and blah, 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 blah. I don't think so. You have to ask yourself, is Matt Gaetz wrong? What else could he have done? Unless you can answer that, what else could he have done besides a motion to vacate the chair and remove the speaker? Was he wrong? Let's listen to him.
The speaker did not just fail to remediate the breach of the agreement he made with us in January. He accelerated the instances of breach. Like, after I laid out the breach, he went and violated the 72-hour rule. After I laid out the breach, he violated the $100 million no amendment suspension rule. So he seems to be reverting to the very unfortunate muscle memory of Washington, D.C.
Now, that's true. And I like the expression muscle memory. In other words, it's automatic. You do it without thinking. And he's got a point. Budgets have been pushed through. They haven't had a real budget. It's just been continuing resolutions since the mid-90s. The mid-90s. Almost 30 years ago. Think about that. We are now, I believe, $33 trillion in debt. $33 trillion. That's a number that people just can't wrap their head around. Let's listen on.
Has put our nation atop a $33 trillion debt that has led to $2 trillion annual deficits in our near future, and the rapid global de-dollarization of the economy. I mean, you look at the BRICS system, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, they're moving away from the dollar. And just in August, they added 6 new countries, including G20 economies in the Western Hemisphere and Gulf monarchies.
Think about that for a minute. The dollar collapses, the petrodollar especially. U.S. dollar is the number one currency in the world, bar none, bar none. Look at the example of England, Great Britain in the 1800s. What happened to them? The British pound, I believe they used to call it the sterling pound, was the currency of the world back then. There's nothing more reliable and more valuable than the British pound. It's pretty reliable now, but it wasn't like back in the old days. And as their empire collapsed and everything collapsed around them, World War I, World War II, they're at where they're at now. The U.S. took up the slack, took up the vacuum, so to speak, after World War II, and we accelerated and enlarged our economy dramatically. Dramatically. He's right. And with BRICS coming up and having their own financial systems to circumvent the U.S. dollar and the petrodollar, you think you have inflation now? It's going to be 1930s Germany where there's 200-300% inflation every month, where you have to burn the money because it's cheaper than buying wood to burn. Think about that.
Moreover, you saw U.S. News say that the number one economic trend of 2023 is de-dollarization globally. This worries me. You all get all worked up that there's going to be some uncomfortable, chaotic moment that I'll feel pressure from conservatives or Democrats.
Yeah, a chaotic moment. That's just, this is I'll call it a revolution for lack of a better term. This is a changing of the parties, to be certain. When I say changing, I don't mean they're switching. I mean they're changing internally. The Democrats have already done it. They went way left to their demise. The progressive left will destroy the Democratic Party. In fact, the progressive left aren't even Democrats. They just took over the party. I think this change is good. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it's chaotic. This is what the founders wanted. They wanted this to be public knowledge for everyone to see, transparency. Nobody likes how the sausages are being made, but they certainly like the sausages. Well, now they're going to see in part how the sausage is made. And yes, it's ugly sometimes. And yes, there's personality conflicts. And yes, they're all people. But he's not wrong.
Democrats or whomever, I feel the judgment of history. I feel the weight of that. I worry that when the history books are written about this country going down, that my name is going to be on the board of directors here. And if this country's going down and if we're losing the dollar, I am going down fighting. And I don't care if that means fighting Republicans, Democrats, the Uniparty, the leadership, the PACs, the lobbyists. I've had it. I've been here 7 years. We don't have a fucking budget.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And he says later, pardon the language, but he's absolutely right. They have not had a budget since the mid-1990s. He's got to fight the bureaucrats in the federal government who really control things above elected officials. Faceless, nameless bureaucrats, unelectable, unfireable. It's ridiculous. It is taking this country down. The lobbyists, the uniparty, the go along to get along people, the go along to get along that just want to get reelected, or I want to get a cushy job when I get out of the Senate or the House of Representatives with some corporation or a think tank or a lobbyist group where I can get $200,000-300,000 a year for basically doing nothing, sitting on boards. It's out of control, out of control. And he is absolutely right. Tell me anything that he says here that's wrong.
We haven't had one since the mid-90s. I am through with it. I apologize for using that word, but the only path forward here is to have single subject spending bills that can be reviewed, amended, considered, and I think that is the responsible way that our legislatures all over this country operate for good.
Yeah. Single voting bills. They put 100 different things in a package. Now, when I was a city councilman in the early 2000s here in upstate New York, by New York state law, we weren't allowed to do that. Say we had a piece of legislation to okay the funding for, we'll say, paving a street, putting in new curbs, new sidewalks, new road, and the allocation of the money to do it, and it broke it down by individual line items and then the total. But say we attached to that changing the size of the city council from 7 till 9 members. Well, we are barred by New York state law from doing that, but New York state does it constantly, and so does the federal government. Remember the famous line from Nancy Pelosi? I think it was about Obamacare, aka Affordable ACA, Affordable Care Act. We have to read it after we vote on it to see what's in it. Remember that one? That's what he's talking about. That's what he's talking about. Where we some bill for military, and stuck in there is some $200 million project that some congressman wanted for his district. This is what he's talking about. Each individual item is voted on. That is a huge package deal. He's right. And those of you that say he's just falling into the trap, he sided with the Democrats, okay, what would you have done instead? Well, it's not, timing isn't good right now. Well, they've been saying that since the mid-90s. Well, you know, you're right, but we'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. Those of you who are familiar with the Charlie Brown comic strip, the American people are Charlie Brown. And Lucy holding the football is the U.S. government, Congress. I promise I won't pull the football away from you this time, and you go to kick it and you fall on your butt. That's the old Charlie Brown clip. We keep trusting them. We keep trusting. Well, the next term. Well, the next time. Well, the next time we'll do it. Well, the next time we'll do it. We're going to do a balanced budget. Well, we'll do it next term. It's too volatile now. It'll cause too much chaos, and we have to get along with the opposition party, no matter what party you are, and blah, 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 wah, 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 wah. And finally, yes, there is a personality conflict between Matt Gaetz and Speaker McCarthy, former Speaker McCarthy. Yeah, I'm sure that was part of it. I have no doubt. But the man isn't wrong. He isn't wrong. I think he dislikes McCarthy because he's a uniparty person. Now, was he doing an okay job? Yeah, he was better than Paul Ryan, because that's a really low bar, to be honest with you. I think Gaetz is right. Yes, this is going to cause chaos. And yes, the Democrats are going to grab some of these clips in next year's congressional elections, especially against Gaetz and others, or the 8 that voted against McCarthy, to go after them, especially if they're in swing districts or close districts as far as electorals go. It's the way it is. Your opposition will cherry pick bad things about the other side. We all do it. We both do it. It's been done forever. In fact, politics is a lot less nasty than it was 100, 200 years ago. But I digress. He is not wrong. He's tired of hearing, well, okay, you're right, we'll do it next time. We'll do it another time. We'll do it incrementally over time. Enough's enough. $33 trillion. And 2/3 of that, since the end of Bush's presidency and the beginning of Barack Obama's presidency, 2/3 of it have been done in one lifetime. That's insane, folks. Absolutely insane. He is not wrong. We need to cut spending dramatically. And those of you out there that say, well, all we need to do is get rid of foreign aid and cut wasteful spending and we'll be good. No. Won't even come close to cutting what we need to cut. Can't talk just hyperboles anymore. You're going to make somebody upset that a program was cut because we've been given all these. Let's say the government's a drug dealer. We've been given all these free drugs and now we're hooked. And now the government's saying, well, we can't afford to give them to you anymore. We're going to start taking away this free stuff we're giving you. And it's going to hurt. But you have to look at the big picture. The big picture. He's right. What's going to happen? Yeah, it's going to be chaotic for a while. There's even been talk that President Trump will be the speaker. That won't happen. And when he was asked about it at his trial, the court proceedings in New York, he didn't say no, but that's just to keep him in the paper. Trump is in everybody's head, rent-free, including Republicans, rhinos, Democrats, progressives, the media, all of the World Wide Web, everything. Trump. They're leading the pack. These are the rebels, so to speak. The 8 or 10 or 12 that made the rules for McCarthy, and he broke some of them, and they ousted him. Yes, they sided with the Democrats. Yeah, sometimes you got to lay down with dogs, you'll get fleas. I get it. But you got to do what you got to do for the goals that you want. He wants the rules changed to make it more transparent and more open, to stop this worthless spending. It has to stop. We're going to see. And like I said, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be ugly. But we're going to see how the sausages are made. And that's the way it goes. This is the way the founders set up the system. Sometimes it's chaotic, but so aren't people. Do you think he's wrong? Let me know what you think in the comments. And until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.